Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers, Game Director on Path of Exile 2. Welcome to GGG Live. Well, it's been a little over 3 months since we launched Early Access, so it's about time for our first major content update. Today, we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of Path of Exile 2, Dawn of the Hunt, which launches on April 4th. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so make sure you follow the instructions below in order to claim your Executioner's Guillotine finisher effect.
Ok.
Now in today's stream, we're going to take you on a deep dive into
Nova
the new Dawn
classe,
of the Hunt
novas
update.
ascendancies.
We'll cover a new class, 5 new ascendancy classes,
5
and huge
ascendancies.
expansions on character systems like unique items and support gems. After that, it's on to the endgame improvements, including changes to systems, a bunch of new encounters, and lots of other content. We're going to finish up today with a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask Path of Exile 2's game directors, myself and Mark, your questions from Twitch chat. Now we have a lot to cover today, so let's get started with a trailer for Path of Exile 2, Dawn of the Hunt.
5 novas ascendancies.
We Azmerian
e
are
Endgame.
guided by the spirit. It provides prey, shelter, even love. But for me, one day, all that were changed.
Cutscenes agora no PoE, hein, mano?
The spirit, it showed me something. Something forbidden. And to defend all I loved, I used it. I lost everything that day. But fate weren't finished with me yet. I'll right the wrongs I've done. I'll do what I must, no matter the cost. I will hear the spirit once more.
Caralho, a Huntress é meio criminosa e foda-se. Caralho, que da hora esse skill, mano. Ah não, a galinha não! A galinha não! Ok. Rogue Exile. Porra, bicho! Ai, não! Ai, não, eu vi aquilo! Ai, meu Deus do céu, eu vi aquilo! Não! 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 Eu vi aquilo! Não! Ai, meu Deus do céu.
Now, as you can see, in Dawn of the Hunt, we're introducing the first new class since early access to PoE 2, the Huntress. The Huntress is a spear-wielding Azmerian warrior. Born into a society with strict traditions, she was exiled from her homeland after using the power of a skill gem to defend her village. As a dexterous spear user, she specializes in both melee and ranged combat, dashing into and out of battle. Spears have extended range and a short dash. But unlike other melee weapons, you can also throw them. In order to make a hybrid ranged and melee character work, we had to do a lot of thinking about ways to make it fun to both enter and exit melee range. The first skill you will get as a Huntress is Whirling Slash. As well as striking in a circle around you, this skill creates a whirlwind that blinds your enemies. Leaving the whirlwind will make it explode. The more Whirling Slashes used, the bigger the whirlwind, and the bigger the explosion.
Clear horrível, né, mano?
Once you're out of there, you'll want to follow up with something ranged.
Da hora,
Walk your
mas
spear
clear
around to
horrível.
shoot twisters towards your foes.
Esse é
These
daorinha.
twisters bounce off walls and can hit enemies multiple times.
Esse é bem daorinha.
You can also throw twisters inside a whirlwind to shoot out extra tornadoes that do way more
Aê,
damage.
agora a gente tem uma utilidade pra clear.
In her offhand, the Huntress will usually want to hold a buckler, which allows you to do a new skill, parry. While holding down parry, your character will counterattack any incoming attack from monsters near you, stunning them. In addition, the monsters will take extra attack damage from your follow-up strike. Some specific skills are designed to be used after a parry and have extra effects. Disengage is a skill that does a quick jump back, damaging enemies in front of you, and it can be used to interrupt other actions, like dodge roll. If you use it against a parried enemy though, it causes an explosion and gives you a frenzy charge.
Então, escudo de força vai dar block,
Just be
escudo de
careful.
dex vai dar
If you parry
parry.
too much, you're going to get stunned and possibly killed. You can combine this combo with Whirling Slash. Slash, parry, disengage, and you'll get an explosion from the disengage and the Whirling Slash.
É da live deles,
The
dessa
Huntress also has a
quedinha de
variety of
frame.
elemental spear throw attacks. You could use Lightning Spear to bounce lightning between your foes. Or you could throw explosive spears into the ground. These spears take a while to detonate, but when they do, they'll incinerate anyone caught in the blast.
Nossa, legal, mas
All spear throws
Legal,
on the
legal.
Huntress can also be empowered by frenzy charges. For example, explosive spears will do an even larger explosion and leave fire on the ground.
legal.
And these empowered versions can activate even more combos. Using Whirling Slash over ground fire will suck it into the whirlwind, adding
Legal
fire
pra
to the
caralho.
explosion.
Legal pra caralho.
Using twisters inside a fire whirlwind will shoot out fire tornadoes as well.
Legal pra caralho.
And you can do similar combos with ice
Legal pra
and
caralho.
lightning too.
Legal pra caralho.
Now a key aspect of hunting is exhausting your foes by causing blood loss.
Parece pra
This
caralho,
skill is
Genshin.
Rake, which dashes towards your target and unleashes a deadly slash, opening up wounds on your enemies. Follow up with Disengage and watch them bleed out as they run towards you.
Essa skill é paia, tá bom? Paia.
On the health bar of monsters, you can see how much blood loss the enemy has experienced, and the Huntress has skills to take
Ó o
advantage
Diablo.
of this.
Ó
For
o Diablo,
example,
Diablo.
using Blood Hunt will thrust forward and cause a bloody explosion.
Diablo,
The
Diablo.
more blood loss, the bigger the explosion. If you want to cause bigger bleeds, try out Rapid Assault. The final hit of this multi-hit combo will stick a spear into your enemy for a big bleed. Now,
Ok.
Explosive Spear and Rapid Assault both result in leaving spears behind, either in the ground or in enemies. But there are other skills that leave spears around too, like Storm Lance, that leaves an electrical spear that arcs towards enemies.
É a mesma
But
coisa que
what
as
can you do with
flechas.
all these spears? Detonate them, of course. Thunderous Leap will allow you to jump onto and explode any spears either in the ground or in your enemies.
Ok.
Now, as well as hunting animals, the Huntress also has the ability to work with them. While fighting any beast, you have the ability to tame it and use it as a companion. You
What?
can only have one companion at a time,
Pet?
but it will keep the mods that were on it. Try to find a rare beast with good mods to take full advantage of your ability to tame them. Now this is just the beginning of the Huntress. We've really tried to make the hybrid ranged and melee gameplay work for this class by having a huge amount of synergy between ranged and
Qualquer
melee
bicho
options.
besta você
There are
pode
22
domar.
new skills available for the Huntress. By endgame, you'll be slinging hundreds of insanely powerful spears, sending forth spirit animals and summoning the might of Solaris from the sky.
Nossa, essa
But
skill
we
é
still
muito da
haven't
hora.
talked about ascendancy classes yet. What can the Huntress ascend into? Well, the first ascension class you could choose is the Ritualist.
Que arte
The Ritualist has
pica.
embraced the dark
Igualzinho
side
a
of
arte do
Azmerian
Warlock.
traditions
Eu sei,
by
mas que
harnessing the
arte
power of
pica,
animal
velho.
sacrifice and plague. The Corrupted Life Force skill causes all enemies around you to grow volatile blood boils on their skin. When those enemies are slain, the boils will burst, spreading corrupted blood to all enemies around them. The Ritualist also excels in taking advantage of magical trinkets. The Unfurled Finger skill allows you to equip an additional ring on a finger around your neck. Taking Mystic Attunement
Vocês
increases the
sabem o que o
bonuses of
cinto
all the
faz,
rings and
né?
amulets you have equipped.
Vocês sabem o que o cinto
Now, this
faz.
is one of my favorites. As the Whispers Ask grants you a new skill.
Vocês lembram o que o
Ritual
cinto
Sacrifice.
faz?
Use the skill on the corpses of slain rare monsters to absorb the power in their blood, to give you one of their modifiers for a short time. Specialize further into Ritualistic Sacrifice with As the Whispers Demand, which allows you to perform that skill on yourself instead of a corpse. Cut your own hand, sacrificing some of your own blood to empower yourself. The Amazon Ascension is for those looking to hunt more than just beasts. Trained as an elite guard to the most important Azmeri elders, the Amazon will use more traditional fighting techniques mastered to perfection.
Ok.
The Predatory Instinct skill will cause you to reveal weaknesses in the defenses of rare and unique enemies, causing you to deal more
50% mais damage.
You can see those weak spots represented on their life bars. While using Elemental Infusion, any charges you consume will infuse your weapon with elemental power, causing any projectile attacks to explode on impact. The Critical Strike skill is as simple as it sounds. It takes your excess accuracy and gives it to you as critical strike chance. Additionally, you have skills like Mystic Harvest, which allows your elemental damage to leech life, and Azmerian Brew to be able to use either flask to restore both life and mana.
Nossa.
So those are the 2 new ascendancies for the Huntress. But those are not the only ascendancies in Dawn of the Hunt. We've added a new ascension class for 3 of the other existing classes too.
Ok.
First up, for our warriors out there, we have the Smith of Kitava.
Vem RF.
The warrior is a blacksmith in origin, taught by his father Renly. With this ascension, you can take your smithing skills to new heights by embracing power from the insatiable one himself, Kitava. Smiths of Kitava are master blacksmiths and have the ability to forge their weapon, quite literally. Using the Against the Anvil notable skill, you can enhance your weapon with fiery destruction before any battle. After doing so, your attacks will release explosions on hit for maximum devastation. You can also use the power of Kitava to summon an animated copy of your weapon to fight alongside you.
Que da hora.
A blacksmith can do more than just
Minion de
forging their
arma.
weapon, though. Their armor
Adoro.
can be enhanced too. Now you might think this ascendancy class tree looks a little abnormal, and you're right.
Que caralho é esse?
There's a lot of notable skills all disconnected at the bottom there. By taking this point here, which is free to assign, your character is unable to equip body armors with mods of any kind. So your body armor must be normal. Sounds like a downside, right? Except now in true blacksmith fashion, you get to craft your own body armor by taking those disconnected notables with your points. If you want your body armor to grant life, take this notable.
Dá pra pegar
If you want
tudo?
resistances, take this one. There's so many choices.
Dá pra
Think of
pegar
it like you're
todos?
crafting your own body armor, just in a more literal sense. Now, let's move on to those who prefer the reassuring feel of a crossbow in their hands.
Eu não
the
acho que é só um, não.
Alongside the existing Ascension classes, the Gemling Legionnaire and
É
the
um
Witch
só?
Hunter, you can now play as the Tactician. The Tactician is a former Blackguard elite. Free from the duties of a Blackguard, he is able to use his training to decimate the monsters of Rayclass
Achei
and
uma
earn healthy
bosta
income
aquilo.
doing so. This training comes in the form of various skills like Suppressing Fire, which causes all projectiles to pin enemies. When combined with the Right Where We Want Them notable, your pin not only stops your enemies from moving, but stops them from performing actions too.
Não vai
Someone
ter
to
RF.
freeze. With a soldier's training, the Tactician also works well cooperatively. Using the Whoever Pays Best notable, you can place multiple banners at once.
Ninguém gosta de jogar banner no
The
chão.
Watch How We Do It skill gives a portion of your weapon's damage to your allies as well.
Ninguém gosta de jogar
But
banner
if
no
that
chão.
isn't enough, you can also command your army of off-screen archers to unleash hell and carpet an entire area with arrows.
Isso é legal, tá?
Finally, witch players will be able to join their legions by
Ai,
becoming
que
undead
linda
themselves.
essa arte! Vai
In
tomar
Dawn
no
of the Hunt,
cu.
we're introducing the Lich Ascension class.
Nossa, que
The
linda
Lich
essa
is a
arte.
master of chaos and curses and could sacrifice her life
Gostosa.
to enhance her energy shield. The Crystalline Phylactery skill allows you to nominate a jewel in which to contain part of your soul, massively increasing its power. There's just one downside to splitting your soul this way though. If you have no energy shield, your mana costs will shoot up. The Necromantic Conduit skill causes you and allies in your presence to have unholy might, granting extra damage as chaos damage.
Puta que
Rapture
pariu,
the
tá
Soul
difícil
makes enemies
traduzir.
you curse explode with chaos damage when slain. Dominion over Flesh allows you to apply an additional curse.
Aquilo é um Hex Bloom mesmo?
It's safe to say you'll be the true master of the occult by choosing the Lich class. So Dawn of the Hunt has the
Ex-Blue não,
Huntress
Profane
and 5
Blue.
new Ascension classes, but it doesn't end there. Let's take a look at some of the new skills we've added. Now you may remember we've previously talked about the Raise Spectre skill. It's finally complete, and it will be made available in the upcoming expansion. It can be found in the occult skills on the skill gem crafting panel.
A gente vai ter que passar com
Raise
calma
Spectre is a
depois,
skill
velho.
that allows you to trap the soul of almost any
Raise
monster in the game,
Spectre! Holies!
which you can then summon in the skill panel.
Chegou os Raise
Spectres
Spectre.
cost spirit and will revive automatically if they die, but the spirit cost varies based on the power of the monster. You could summon an army of weaker monsters, or a few of the more
Agora
powerful
faz
ones.
isso no PoE1, por favor.
You can combine them with your existing skeleton minions,
Ele renasce
or
pra quem
summon
perdeu.
exclusively specters. It's all up to you and how you want to customize your army of the
Eles
undead.
renascem depois de um tempo que morrem.
Given that there are hundreds upon hundreds of monster variants in Path of Exile 2, it's safe to say you'll be experimenting with this one for a while. We look forward to seeing which monsters serve you best.
Pica, mano.
Now let's move on to our next skill. Since we've been talking about summoning undead so much, let's have a change of pace and summon something a little more alive. In Dawn of the Hunt, we're adding the Summon Rower skill.
Summon Rower.
Summon your friendly rower to aid you in combat as a minion.
Aumenta a move speed ou não?
You can also mount your rower in combat at any time.
Não, é só pra
allowing you to move
tirar
at full
andando.
speed, even while shooting arrows or throwing spears.
Só pra tirar andando.
Be wary though, if you take too much damage while riding your mount, you can be knocked off and get overwhelmed.
É montaria pra todos.
It's worth keeping an eye on your stagger bar,
Mas
as
gasta
falling off the
spirit.
mount can mean almost certain death.
É 60
On
de
the topic
spirit
of
pra
new ways
tirar
to
andando.
enhance your character, let's talk about support gems. Support gems are used to modify your skill gems in meaningful and interesting ways. Currently, we feel that a lot of builds have insufficient options here. To alleviate this, we're adding over 100 new support gems. Hema crystals will enable a new kind of bleed build, turning the damage over time you would have done into
Sem
explosive
gema
vial
nova de
crystals.
suporte, velho. Sem
Alignment
gemas.
is a support gem for bow attacks, which can reward skilled players with good positional skills. Caltrops will allow you to litter the battlefield with hazards, slowing your foes as you fling spears through their ranks. But there's plenty more for every playstyle, such as enormity, unsteady tempo,
Sem gema, vai tomar no cu, cara.
profanity,
Não quero nem ver, mano. Não quero nem ver.
retaliate, syzygy. Yep, that's a real word. And many more.
Nossa.
Now, we've talked about a new class, new ascendancy classes, new skills, and new support gems. But let's not forget about the core of a true action RPG, the items.
Ok.
To start with, let's talk about uniques.
Nerf.
We're adding over 100 new unique items.
Puta que
This time,
pariu.
we've made sure to add uniques with a focus on mid and endgame tiers
Let's
to
go
make sure
for
there
the
are more
breed,
exciting items to find for higher level characters. Let's look at some examples. Embrace your inner devil with Chernobog's Pillar. It grants you a large amount of fire damage based on your block chance.
Puta que
The Coming
pariu.
Calamity allows you to become a true master of the elements, granting you all 3 elemental herald skills without costing any spirit. At the
Uou!
same time, it penalizes enemy resistances.
Caralho!
Wastegate is a belt useful for builds using a single resource like Blood Magic or Archmage
Não
builds.
gasta spirit pra
With
3
this belt, you
herald.
can use 2 life flasks or 2 mana flasks. It's up to you. Now, we could go through these all day, but we'll leave most of them for you to discover.
A máscara
Suffice to
do
say, though, we want there to be way more cool things to find.
Mask of the Council.
Over time, our goal is to add a unique to every single base item type at a minimum, so that you can chance any base in the game.
Ok,
Now,
justo.
given that we have the Huntress, we have a set of unique spears from early game all the way through the end game as well. One example is Scyther's Spear, which combines bleed and fire in a powerful way. It allows your ignites to be aggravated, dealing substantially more damage.
Ignite
We're
agravado.
also introducing a suite of unique bucklers with some interesting parry mechanics. Calgyra's Arc, for example, allows you to parry projectiles from any distance.
Ah, ninguém liga.
And we're also adding our first unique charms. Beira's Anguish will not only protect you from Ignite, but will also emit a devastating fire nova whenever you do get ignited. In sum, there's just a ton of new uniques to find.
Nossa, é
We
pra dar
can't wait to see
ignite
the
baseado
weird
na
and
sua
broken builds
vida.
that come out of it. Now, we also want to talk about crafting options. In each major update during early access, we'll be continuing to add and improve the options here. We have various new crafting tools that have been added as rewards to many of the different types of new content that we're
novo
adding.
craft.
But for now, I just want to mention the changes to runes. Runes add commonly available mods, but since they only have one
Puta, vai ter
tier,
tier
flat
de
damage
runa.
mods tend to get outclassed by in-game.
Tier de
So
runa.
we've changed runes to have multiple tiers, allowing you to get higher tier mods than before. Our
Fog.
plan is to significantly expand the number of more specialized mods for crafting using socketables as we add new content over time. And the first new set of those comes from what we're talking about next. In Dawn of the Hunt, we're adding Azmerian Wisps, which can be found throughout
Nova
both the
mecânica.
campaign and the endgame.
Os Wisps.
The Azmeri spirit has made itself present in Rayclast, and it appears to be trying to warn, or maybe prepare us for the coming
Ó, meu
darkness.
viado que o Ruton
You'll
matou.
first encounter a manifestation of it in the Grelwood in Act 1, where you'll meet Delwyn, an Azmeri hunter who is trying to find out what exactly is causing the spirit to behave this way.
A gente tem Einhard em
As you
casa.
approach the wisp, it will flee, leading you past monsters. Any monsters it comes into contact with are infused by it, making them more powerful. Each spirit is associated with a specific revered animal within Azmeri culture. This one is a wisp of the Great Bear.
Ganhamos
extra life and stun.
Ganhamos
the wisp moves
Iron
faster the closer you
Surfista.
are, and as you move away, they slow down to wait for you. But if you get too far away for too long, they'll dissipate and return to the woods. As you continue to chase the wisp, it will find and possess a rare or unique monster, granting it a new powerful ability. Because this was a wisp of the Great Bear, this monster now also has increased life and stun. But on top of that, it will periodically summon a large spectral bear that slams with wild fury.
Ok, uma mistura de
If you're able to
Tormented
defeat this
Spirit.
foe, you will be rewarded.
A live dele que
For
tá
each
travando,
monster
só
that
eu
was
não.
infused and killed along the way, the rewards will be increased. Each wisp has its own mechanics. The Wisp of the Winter Owl is a primal wisp that causes enemies to deal extra cold damage, gain energy shield, and release wind vortices on death. When infusing a monster, they will call down large tornadoes to protect their host. The Wisp of the Wild Cat is a vivid wisp
É a
that
live
causes
dele está
affected
travando.
monsters to deal more critical strikes and become more evasive. When it infuses a monster, it will summon a barrage of feline spirits that will attempt to tear you limb from limb. If you're lucky, you may even find sacred wisps that can do some pretty crazy things to the monsters they influence.
Sacred Wisp vai
Like the
fazer o
Wisp
quê?
of the Cunning
Oh,
Fox,
caralho, lag.
which turns normal monsters into magics, magic monsters into rares, and rare monsters into actual bosses.
Ok. Ele
Azmerian
evolui os
Wisps can
bichos
drop a new
raros
set
pra
of
boss.
socketable items that allow you to craft a wide range of interesting new mods onto your items. Each one may only be used on a specific item slot. As mentioned, the Azmerian
Talismã.
Wisps can be encountered throughout the game, but there's also a new endgame map called the Azmeri Ranges, a mountain village where the Azmeri once lived, now overrun with corrupt monsters. This map always has multiple Azmerian Wisps in it, and familiar, yet not
Ok.
quite the same boss fight.
Você vai achar
Azmerian Wisps can also be
Mapas
further modified by the
full
in-game
wisps.
Atlas tree as well, and by tablets. But I'm not
Okay.
going to be the one talking about those things. In order to cover all the new content in in-game, I'm going to hand things over to Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile
Ai,
2.
I'm travando pra
There's a
cacete.
ton to talk about with the endgame today, so let's dig right in. Path of Exile 2's early access began with a brand new endgame, and it was clear that it needed a lot of work.
Aham.
After absorbing your feedback, we're ready to make some epic changes.
Vamos lá, mudanças no endgame.
The first thing is, we just need a lot more content. In Dawn
Mais
of the Hunt, we
conteúdo.
have made sure to focus on increasing the sheer number of interesting and different encounters you will randomly stumble into as you explore the endgame.
Ok, mais
And the
encontros
second goal is to
aleatórios.
smoothen the progression through maps and reduce the amount of annoying busy work. To start with, let's talk about the new interesting stuff to find. Well, the most obvious thing to add are new maps. As well as the
Novos
Azmeri ranges that
mapas,
Jonathan
ok.
mentioned earlier, Dawn of the Hunt also contains 7 other new maps, all with their own custom encounters. Let's start with this one. The Feral Megaliths map starts off in the wild Ezomite forests. As you progress through the
Ok.
forest, you will find mysterious rune-carved stones
Mapas com
that, when touched,
mecânicas.
surge with energy.
Mecânicas
After
específicas.
activating all the stones, you can find a grand henge, where all the energy is coalescing. You can then start an encounter. The area darkens, a storm moves in, and a concentration of energy summons a dangerous boss.
Tá,
You must
pô.
fight and defeat the boss to get its rewards. Once you have defeated it, summon another. And another. And another. And another.
Como assim?
You have 10 total waves of boss fights which get incrementally more difficult.
Nossa.
If you manage to defeat them,
Eu preciso
you get
tentar dar
full
um
boss
F5 aqui,
rewards,
mano.
but also opportunities to get new runes. These can only be obtained from this map. The Fractured Lake contains a surreal waterscape
Eu
with
preciso
fractured
tentar dar um
mirror-like
F5 aqui.
objects. As you move around the map, the terrain itself elevates from below, creating the ground you walk on.
Uau.
In this unique map, all the rare monsters are mirrored, so you're always fighting 2 of the same rare at the same time, which can prove quite difficult. If you manage to overcome that challenge and make it to the end of the map, you'll be presented with a broken mirror, a powerful altar-like object that contains an item within it.
Ai, meu Deus.
The item contained within is a new base type, either an amulet or
Ai,
a
meu
ring that can be
Deus.
crafted to have additional prefixes or
Simplex tudo de
suffixes at the
novo.
cost of the other. The last unique map we'll show today is one based around the essence mechanic. You enter a crystalline cavern, and you will find a powerful map boss imprisoned in the center. It is surrounded by many rare monsters, also imprisoned in essences. By freeing and defeating the rare monsters, the essence they held will be upgraded to a greater essence and be added to the imprisoned map boss. How brave are you? How many essences will you add to the boss?
Nossa,
Overdo
tá
it
maluco.
and you might lose everything. Underdo it and you might regret it. It's your choice. Speaking of essences, alongside visual improvements, you're now able to apply Varlorbs to corrupt the essences with a range of unpredictable outcomes.
Ok.
It could increase the number of essences, re-roll all the essences to the same type, or even upgrade the essences to greater essences.
Nossa, aí sim.
What if they're already greater essences? Well, it can upgrade those too. We
Ok.
have 4 new corrupted essences.
Novas
Essence of Hysteria,
essências.
Delirium, Horror, and Insanity.
Essa arte desse
Each
jogo é muito
corrupted
bonita.
essence has its own interesting combat mechanics. For example, the essence of Insanity causes you to question even your own mind, as monsters split into shadowy clones, and you must locate the real one before a devastating icy explosion freezes everything around it.
Ok.
Each of these has their own crafting outcomes. The essence of Insanity can be applied to a belt. It adds a mod that will ensure the next Varlorb used on the belt will guarantee adding 2 enchantments.
Ok. Ok. Ok.
It's worth noting all the essences in the unique map can also be corrupted too, if you're willing to risk it. It's worth noting we have also added 10 extra Atlas passive points you can earn by completing 5 different
Deus
unique
é bom.
maps. Now, new maps are just the beginning. We had a goal where we wanted to make sure you were constantly finding exciting new content, and that it could be lurking around any corner. So, we have added a bunch of new things that you could stumble into in any map you run. On your travels, you will sometimes encounter rogue exiles. Others like you who have been exiled and are
E vem
openly
os Rogue
hostile.
Exiles, é.
Some are malicious, some are mad, while others are simply fiends for loot. They will
Eu vou
challenge
tentar
you,
dar um
a fight
F5.
to the death.
A gente já sabe o que é um Rogue Exile. Vamos lá.
They aren't just dressed up in those items, they're actually using them. It's going to feel like a true player versus player situation. Of course, if you are able to slay these exiles, those items will all drop on the ground. So if you encounter an exile using a powerful or valuable unique
Ok,
item,
resolveu por
which
enquanto.
you can see displayed under their life bar, you want to be damn sure you kill them. Because if they kill you and your party, they'll portal out, taking their items with them. Every fight will feel completely different depending on the items they come
Que
equipped
da hora.
with. These exiles are much
Exatamente
smarter
igual.
than your regular monster. They
Exatamente
have
igual.
capabilities to dodge roll,
Betrayal.
avoid your abilities with smart pathfinding,
Ok,
smart
tem
targeting,
PVP. A
and
gente vai,
much more action-packed
vai
gameplay.
tomar forte no cu pra esse Rogue Exile.
Fortunately, they're like you, and they're not super durable. Unless, of course, they're wearing uniques like Helm's Heart, in which case, expect a longer battle.
Nossa, a gente vai tomar
There are
forte no
12 different
cu.
rogue exiles you can find, each with their own skills and personalities.
Puta que pariu.
Some may insult you, while others may admire your honor in combat. Another encounter you might stumble onto in Dawn of the Hunt are one of 4 new unique strongboxes. Strongboxes are chests with modifiers. When you try to open them,
Novas
they activate
strongbox.
traps and spawn waves of monsters that you must defeat to access the loot. Let's take a look at 2 of the new unique boxes that are harder to find and behave just a little bit differently.
Bonita, mas tem que
Ogren's
nascer mais
Legacy
rápido os
Strongbox
bichos
has
da
a corpse
box.
splayed out in front of the rune-carved stone. Upon interacting with the stone, you activate Forbidden Ezomite magic, which revives the monster as a powerful rare.
Aham.
The Strongbox comes with a modifier which determines how many times it will revive that rare. Each time you defeat the monstrosity, the Strongbox revives it again, adding an extra modifier to the monster. With each resurrection, it becomes more difficult, but also more rewarding. This Strongbox is infused with Thaumaturgy from ancient file
Okay.
technology. Eshell's Torment has a powerful artifact inside, and is guarded by Chaos itself. Defeating the monsters will grant you a unique item, with a specific corrupted outcome. You'll have to find the other 2 for yourself to see what they do.
Nossa, aquilo era uma box?
Now, let's talk about the introduction to the endgame. Upon starting the endgame, Doriani tasks you with cleansing corruption to help restore the land.
Ok.
However, In practice, the quest objective just sent you on a grind to clear 15 maps. We wanted to make the quest to unlock your Atlas passives much more interesting. Now, Doriani is tasking you with a more specific objective. On the Atlas, you will find areas of corruption caused by the beast.
Ok.
In the center of each one, you will find a corrupted nexus, the source of the affliction.
Tá, agora
In
entrou
the
no
areas
endgame e
leading
tem
up to the
objetivos.
nexus, you will notice that corruption spills out from slain enemies and amalgamates into powerful monsters. Corrupted maps existed on the Atlas before, but we've done significant work on improving these monsters. We've also done a full pass on the modifiers on these maps to make them more interesting and more rewarding. Once you reach the nexus, you will have a new task: cleanse the source of corruption. When you defeat the last rare in those maps, they will spawn one of 3 terrifying bosses, amalgamations of corruption itself.
Os bosses do Beyond vão
After defeating that
renascer.
boss, Doriani will come and cleanse the corruption for good. As the remains of the boss are purged of corruption, it coalesces into raw crystallized power, which you can use to gain points for your Atlas passive skill tree.
Ok.
The upgrade system that allows you to add and enhance content in your maps. We didn't stop there though. When you complete a corrupted nexus, all of the remaining surrounding corrupted maps will become cleansed maps. Cleansed maps also have new monsters.
Ok, depois
A
você
new
limpa
boss.
a corrupção, tem bicho mais difícil nos
And
mapas.
their own set of
Ok,
modifiers and rewards,
faz sentido.
including finding fracturing orbs by slaying cleansed enemies.
Fracturing Orbs.
These orbs can be used in crafting on a rare item to cause one
Fracturing
of its modifiers to
orbs.
become fractured. A fractured modifier is one that cannot be modified by any means.
Fracturing
You are able to freely
Orbs.
modify the item, ensuring the fractured modifier will never change. If you get the right item with the right mod, it can prove to be a very powerful crafting base indeed. You must now choose. Do you complete all the corrupted maps and then the Nexus? Or maybe you beeline to the Nexus, complete it, and do all the remaining maps cleansed. Both have rewards to entice you and challenges to assess.
Aham.
Now, let's have a talk about towers. One thing we've had a lot of feedback on is the busy work around running towers and
Paia.
managing your tablets.
Paia, Tower, paia.
The first change we've made here is that we have reduced the number of towers drastically.
Menos
so there
tower,
are now 1/3 as many as before,
com mais
but
range.
we've made them much more powerful.
Claro.
To start with,
Ó, a range
tablets
disso,
now inherently
absurdo.
add twice as many mechanics. But that's not all. Running higher tier maps and towers now increases the number of mechanics applied by tablets. By tier 15, the bonus is double, allowing a single tablet to now add 4 times as many mechanics as before. So, we're running far fewer towers, dealing with fewer tablets, and affecting even more maps than before.
Caralho!
But because there are fewer towers overlapping with each other, you
28
won't get as many
mapas.
opportunities to stack different tablets. In order to solve this, we've made it so that each tower can consume up to 3 tablets at once. You always get 1 slot on completing the tower, but if you can complete a tower with more mods on the waystone, you can unlock a 2nd or 3rd slot.
Puta que
Overall,
pariu.
this allows for even more juicing from towers, while
Três-
drastically reducing the amount of busy work you have to do.
3
On top of
tablets
that,
per
towers are
tower.
much more interesting maps because they can now spawn with all mechanics, including bosses. Each tower map has a new boss. Let's take a look at a couple here. The boss fight of the Alpine Ridge map has 2 powerful witches
Puta
contesting for
que
territory.
pariu.
One witch has an affinity for ice, the other fire. Who will win? Hopefully neither. The boss of the
Zed the
Sinking
best.
Spire map is a remnant of the Val that has been charged with the lightning. It uses a full suite of lightning abilities. But be careful. If any of them hit the surrounding constructs, they will power up. Another thing that we've seen a lot of feedback about is sustaining waystones. As we looked into
Sustaining
it, we
waystone.
realized that the people who couldn't sustain waystones were
Ah.
dying a lot.
Sustain de
A
waystone.
lot more than we had expected. And that made us realize something. During the campaign, the expectation is that you can die multiple times in order to learn how to overcome challenges.
Portal,
You are
portal.
able to learn how the monsters behave,
Portal.
adapt to their skills, and eventually overcome them. But as soon as you get to the endgame, you are effectively no longer allowed to die if you want to sustain waystones. By the time you are getting towards the end of endgame, we want you to have to be careful not to die. But it certainly shouldn't be that we have such a sudden shift as you run your first maps. The first change we're making is you can now respawn and return to a map if you die.
Ok. 6 portais, foda-se.
Continuing from where you left off.
6 portais, foda-se.
When you start the endgame, you get up to 6 total attempts per map.
Valeu pelo Prime, Bunny.
As you add more modifiers to a waystone, the number of respawns goes down. This means that as you get to the point that you're running every waystone as a rare, you will have to be more careful.
Então, dependendo da raridade do mapa, tem uma quantia de portal diferente.
In parties, everyone gets to respawn that number of times.
Nice! Mesma vida pra cada pessoa.
But we still think it's important that you can kill a boss in one go. In order to allow that to happen, we've made a change so that once you start the boss fight, it changes over to the same respawning system we use for pinnacle bosses. This means that the map owner can choose to respawn everyone at the same time.
Ok.
Another complaint we've seen a lot of is players not wanting to do the pinnacle content because of the experience penalty from dying. A change we've made here is that all pinnacle content now no longer grants experience, but also no longer removes experience on death either.
Legal, pode morrer em Pinnacle Boss.
Dawn of the Hunt also brings the first batch of Twilight Order reliquary keys from the early access supporter packs. These keys contain items selected by our supporters. They can contain any unique item found in Path of Exile 2.
E vem as keys.
If the selected item is a pinnacle boss drop, then only special keys dropped by this content will be able to provide these items.
Legal.
For example, Hand of Wisdom in action can only come from a key dropped by Zesht.
Ok, vai tá nerfada, vai tá nerfada. Aí ele não vai
We're also
identificar.
making a change that allows pinnacle boss uniques to drop at any difficulty. Rarer uniques will be rarer at lower difficulties, but still possible to find.
Ok, vai
This
dar pra pegar
applies to the
vários
drop chances
uniques.
for the reliquary keys from this content as well. We spoke about towers and tablets earlier, but we have also added a suite of unique tablets. Each of these adds crazy interactions to the map's influenced player.
Alguma essência, será?
For example, this unique tablet allows you to run any map in a tower's radius without requiring connections, which can be quite useful for jumping gaps and traveling around your atlas.
Bem legal.
And
Dá pra
this tablet
pular
causes all
os
runic
mapas.
monsters spawned during expedition encounters to be duplicated, and weakens all expedition monsters that emerge from the ground. The Atlas tree has also been expanded, and you can find many of the new mechanics there, and improvements to existing ones too.
Começou a crescer a Atlas Tree. Era simples, vai começar a
Now, through
complicar.
this live stream, we have mentioned quite a few new crafting options that we've added. New runes, corrupted essences, fractured mods, and jewelry crafting bases. But we did have just one more crafting system to talk about.
Qual?
Recombination. Expedition was the only in-game mechanic that was lacking a crafting system,
Puta
so
que
that
pariu.
needed to change.
Puta que pariu.
Recombination is a mechanic that might
Chegou
be
o
familiar to some
Recombinator.
players.
Chegou.
It allows you to merge 2 items together, hoping to get the best elements of each on a single new item.
Chegou o
This new
Recombinator.
crafting bench will be unlocked as you complete your first expedition, and requires artifacts found during expeditions to fuel it. The rarer the mods on the item you are combining, the more expensive the cost. That wraps up all the major in-game changes we're talking about today. With all the system changes and new content, we can't wait to get in there, start blasting maps, and obliterating monsters. There is one more thing we wanted to clarify before we move on,
Ixi.
which is that all the content we've talked about today will be made available in the existing early access leagues, so you can play your existing characters. However, there will be new leagues made for those who wish to start in a fresh economy.
Benção.
It
Nova
is
liga,
recommended
ok.
to start over and get the full new experience in the Dawn of the Hunt leagues.
Dá pra jogar com o Char que já existe ou
For all
tem a
our
nova
existing
liga.
early access players, we're really looking forward to joining you playing in this new update. For those who don't already have access and are interested in playing Path of Exile 2, Dawn of the Hunt, you are able to at any time purchase an early access supporter pack at www.pathofexile2.com.
www.
Additionally, the Paladin and Penance supporter packs are now available to purchase in Path of Exile 2 and contain 6 microtransactions each and the full pack's face
Oh,
value
esses
in
pacotes
points.
são muito legal.
All
Pacote
the
do 1 foi pro
microtransactions
2.
contained within these packs
Dá na mesma,
are
né,
purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way.
Eu já
Thank
tenho
you
esse
so
também.
much for your ongoing support.
Benção.
We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for the release.
Patch notes?
Keep an eye on the news. On release weekend, we expect to launch the new mystery box and many new microtransactions,
Nada de patch note.
including Path of Exile 2's first alternate skill effects. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to playing the Huntress, trying new builds, and exploring the new endgame next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
Patch notes vai ser só depois, eles não vão soltar hoje, aparentemente. Oh my god, amigos. Puta que pariu, é muita coisa a gente tem pra conversar, hein? Caralhaço, quanta coisa a gente tem pra conversar. Meu Deus do céu. Antes de tudo, a gente tem que ver o nosso binguinho aqui. Ah, pra quem ainda não é familiarizado com as nossas lives de review, eu não assisto o Q&A, a gente faz a nossa conversa aqui, o nosso Q&A, então vários detalhes podem sair no Q&A se vocês quiserem dar uma olhada. Aí não vai ser comigo no momento.